Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anthony Weiner, New York Crime Subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Attorney General, welcome. You know, I don't believe there is a Republican or Democratic way to do your job. I don't believe there's a conservative or liberal way to do it. I believe that law enforcement should transcend politics. That has led me to support you in your decision to hold the trial of Sheikh Mohammed in the Southern District, where we have perhaps the best prosecutors anywhere in the world, the most experienced in prosecuting terrorism cases, judges, court officers who know their business. And I frankly think that sooner or later you should stop the kabuki dance and tell us where that trial is going to be held. And I think if you make a good case and if you sell it and you get the facts out there, to be supported. But I have to tell you, as the chief law enforcement officer of this country, some of the funding decisions made by this administration have been mind-numbingly, insanely wrong. First, we see that the COPS funding, something that, as you know, I fought very hard for to get included in the stimulus fund, in the stimulus bill, denied the New York City Police Department its application. And when it did, it says we're going to limit it to 50 police officers, essentially saying that the notion of a 5% cap and more, that a city like New York should not get what it asked for. It should get some minuscule number, if any. And then yesterday, we find the Department of Homeland Security proposes a 35% cut in transit funding, a 3% cut in Port Authority funding, total transit funding of 30% cut, a 25% cut in port security. You know, I have to tell you that while you might not be the Secretary of Homeland Security, I'd be shocked if anyone who watched your press conference after the attempt on Times Square would come back and propose these things. You know, I think there is something to be said for the idea that if you're going to say we need more boots on the ground, you have to realize that in New York City today we have fewer police officers than September 11th. You have to realize the COPS program, which someone like me have fought very hard to get, is not necessarily only for towns that don't have minor league baseball teams. Big cities like New York that are targets have to get the resources they need. And I would urge you to tell your colleagues within the administration that when it comes to COPS, these types of funding, you have to give us the resources to do our job so that when you hold your trials, we can make sure that they're safe. And I yield back the balance of my time.